morning and welcome to the next video in our speaker series. My name is Allison Sugar and I'm the Community Outreach Manager for the Foundation for Free Enterprise Education. And I am so happy to introduce you to Tom Baker. He is the CEO of Variety, the children's charity in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tom proudly serves as Chief Executive Officer of Variety, the children's charity of Pittsburgh, with a mission to empower children with disabilities to live life to the fullest. Variety provides life-changing mobility and communication equipment to ensure our most vulnerable kids are no longer left out, left behind, or excluded. Tom is also the founder and Chief Program Officer of Get Involved, Inc., a 501c3 public charity nonprofit organization that educates and empowers young leaders through several annual events in Pittsburgh. In addition to leading 2 organizations, Tom has authored 3 books, hosted 2 television programs, and has spoken with over 350,000 students, young professionals, and community leaders at more than 500 colleges, corporations, associations, and civic groups across the country. And last, but certainly not least, Tom is a PFEW graduate. Welcome, Tom. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Allison. It's so good to be with you. And I'm very proud to be a PFEW alum from back in 1995. So being reconnected and getting ready, I can't wait to volunteer next year, kind of to celebrate the 30th anniversary of going through the program.
That is wonderful. We have a lot to cover. So if you are ready to go, we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I think, in reading your bio, you've had so many professional accomplishments. So beginning with your educational background, I think is a perfect place to start. So if you could tell us where you went to college, what your major was, but also about your path to what you're doing right now.
Okay. Thanks, Allison. Yeah, so I went to Alderdice here in Pittsburgh, PA, and it was during that time that I learned about PFEW. And I really do want to give PFEW and also the Governor's School for Excellence in Teaching back in the 90s, those 2 programs in particular, a lot of credit for empowering me, engaging me. I think, growing up as a kid here in Pittsburgh, that was really the bubble that I saw. And it was going to PFEW that really opened my eyes to the rest of the Commonwealth, to getting to know kids from all kinds of different counties and communities. It was just a remarkable experience. And as somebody that was very passionate about sports and didn't really see a life in which sports would be everything that I did, going to PFEW and Governor's School was really helpful in showing me all the other opportunities that there were out in the world. So I ended up going to Millersville University in Lancaster, PA for college. I was an elementary education major. Really enjoyed that process. Actually got to be the director of a child development center right out of school, which was pretty neat. And then went to Governor's School at IUP. So I'm a state system person, Millersville and IUP, and had a wonderful experience there in the student affairs and higher ed program. Graduated from Millersville in 2002 and IUP in 2005, and very proud and still actively involved with both of my collegiate alma maters.
That's wonderful. And I think what's interesting about what you said is that, to the work you're doing now, it wasn't necessarily a linear path from what you did in college. So, that your path is a little different than maybe you thought it would be. So can you tell me about what changed your mind?
Sure. And I would say both of the sectors that I kind of explored, nonprofit management and college administration, there's really not typically majors predominantly for either of those career tracks or fields. So it was really through being so involved in college. I was student body president of my fraternity, just really active in a lot of ways on campus at Millersville. That taught me about the possibility to be a college administrator. And then when I was working as a career counselor at CMU, I was learning about all these roles with NGOs, with nonprofits. I had been a big brother from the month that I graduated from college, and a lot of the credit for everything in my honestly civic and professional life goes to Preston Kilgore my now 32-year-old little brother, but he was 10 when we got matched. So a lot of credit goes to PK for all that he's taught me in this world. But I learned that you could run nonprofits, you could help manage nonprofits as an actual career. And the things that we think about, if money didn't matter, if you were a millionaire tomorrow because someone kind like you, Allison, bestowed it upon us and you could do anything. I mean, this opportunity to get to help lead Big Brothers Big Sisters, North Hills Community Outreach, and Variety now, it's been, these last 20 years have been nothing short of remarkable, and I feel very, very fortunate. But it all goes truly back to a phone book, back the month that I graduated from college, and calling up Big Brothers Big Sisters and getting matched with Preston. And fast forward just a little bit, working at CMU at Carnegie Mellon, just seeing those postings and seeing that you could do nonprofit management and help run and help lead these wonderful organizations. It's been such a good experience in the nonprofit sector, but one, of course, that not many people know about, that it exists.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's great that you used, all of those experiences to lead you to your work with nonprofits, because again, just, really meaningful work. And it really shows, how you can come full circle from, a high school student through college and then into your work now. And again, PFEW graduate, always a pleasure, to interview one of our graduates and kind of find out, what did you take from PFEW that really impacted your college and career path, especially that work that you do with youth?
Okay. Well, I love the experience at PFEW. I would encourage all young leaders to go through the program. I have a 6-year-old now who will certainly, I will miss her if she leaves me for a week, but I will encourage her to go to PFEW in about 10 years from now. But yeah, Allison, I still have the certificates from back in '95. I am very proud. And these weren't just in some box somewhere. These were literally in my yearbook. When I looked back, that's a little marketing piece from '96 then, with the PFEW picture that I was in with some of my classmates. But I loved the program. And what I really enjoyed about it, and we've had, even already this morning, we've had a couple opportunities here at Variety to be really creative and just to kind of think outside of the box. And that was the one of the biggest takeaways from PFEW. I just loved, there was an advertising competition. I still remember that. And just our team, our group got together and was so creative, had such a fun time doing that. That's one of the core things that I remember. And now fast forward, you think about all the creative and interesting and different things that you can do in your civic life and your professional life. But it really got me going and thinking, wow, people that help run businesses or organizations, they can be really creative. That's one of the big takeaways from that week-long experience back in the mid-90s.
That's terrific. I mean, those soft skills that people take from PFEW are, a lot of times the most impactful parts that they take away, but also, like you said, relationships and thinking outside the box. And that's great to hear. That's why I love always interviewing a PFEW graduate.
And just getting to know and working with people from somewhere that isn't Pittsburgh, that was really helpful too. So just getting to know students that had a different background and came from school districts and communities that were very different than my own. I mean, we know that no matter where you are professionally and civically, there's going to be people from all kinds of different places. There's going to be a diverse assortment of people. So much of what we do in life is group projects, and PFEW is a great example of how to work as a team and how to work together that maybe not all high school students get all the time in the classroom. So getting it through a program like PFEW is really valuable.
Thank you so much for that. And honestly, the number one experience that our students do talk about is meeting people from all over the state and meeting all of those different people. So that, it is so important, because we don't, choose the people oftentimes that we work with, but learning to work in a team, always a great experience for the kids. So that's wonderful to hear it from you. And, talking about that teamwork, and I know your organizations, are built on that teamwork. So what I'd love for you to do now is tell us about your two organizations.
Oh, well, I'm so, every day since January 2nd has been an incredible day. I've been here as our CEO for Variety, and it's just been the journey of a lifetime. My dad was a special education teacher. He passed away back in 1991, but I grew up as a kid helping out at Special Olympic events all the time, just really like getting to know the kids that are now adults. And then just fast forward to a night like last night where we had variety and Special Olympics come together for a bocce night. It was very fun. Bocce is also a very fun sport. Allison, have you ever played bocce? If not, you got
I
to.
have I have not played bocce, but my husband and I vacation in Wildwood, New Jersey, and they have a huge bocce league
Yeah.
there. So we have watched it many times. It looks really fun.
It's enjoyable. Yeah, the variety kids and families had a good time last night. The Special Olympians had a very good time. But even kind of the creativity and the fun of bringing our two groups together was great last night. My mom was an early intervention specialist until 2020, so just my parents' professional background and a lot of my civic involvement, I found myself just really missing working with kids, and the fact that we get to work with these wonderful, wonderful children here at Variety and their families. The life-changing adaptive equipment that we provide through my bike, my stroller, and my voice, it's second to none. And the experience of presenting these bikes, strollers, and then the voice systems as well. We just celebrated our 3,000th and 3,001st bike last week. The 3,000th we shared on Pittsburgh Today Live, which is a wonderful show here in southwestern PA, and then our 3,001st at Highmark. And it's the joy of the child themselves, but also their siblings. The little boy Jude that got the 3,000th bike, just yesterday we received a photo, his first bike ride that he was taking with his two brothers. And the three of them probably didn't envision that they would get to do that together in this life. And the fact that Variety and our partners from Blackburns and the intermediate units across the Commonwealth, the fact that we can all come together and make this happen for such wonderful kids and their families is truly remarkable. So it's an honor to be here at Variety. I have 6 wonderful teammates. We talked about the power of working in a team. And you said that, Allison, that we don't always get to pick our teammates. I would say if I could go back in time and pick 6 teammates, I would pick these 6 because Lois, Zach, Deanna, Molly, Patty, and Kayla are wonderful. And that's really important.
It is. And agreed. And I am so fortunate that I come from the same place that you do. Like my coworkers, if I had to pick them, they would be the coworkers that I have. They're terrific, and that makes work. It makes it not work.
Right.
It's a pleasure to do those things every day. I received your newsletter and was reading about the 3,000 and 3,001 accomplishment, and that's absolutely wonderful, and a service that you provide that is, it's so needed, especially for those that, especially for the youth that need those things and benefit from that. And that service, talking about that service, we try and teach our young people about the value of service and teach them about service learning. Both of your organizations are really grounded in providing service as well as fostering volunteerism. So can you tell us why this is so important to you personally and professionally?
Well, I've always believed that if you need to get something done, ask a busy person to do it. On the days that we have more going on, more activities, more events, more volunteer opportunities as well too, I think we just have an extra pep in our step. You referenced Get Involved earlier, and in 2008, I wrote a book and got to travel the country a bit, talking on college campuses, predominantly to college students and then young professionals as well too. And it was just an incredible journey, but just really instilling them the thought of, if you enjoyed being involved in high school, if you enjoy being involved in college, don't stop the momentum. Keep it going. Show up to events, join a committee. Don't be bored. Be on a board with a slightly different spelling. I mean, that's what we really want to instill in young professionals and lifelong learners, that there's so much out there to do. It's been truly just a wonderful experience to help start a young professional board at Big Brothers Big Sisters, then at NHCO. And I will just say, this variety movement board that we have here at Variety, they're remarkable. There's 25 of them, and they're making big things happen for and with our organization. So getting people involved in their 20s and 30s is something I'm deeply passionate about. We've been able to do that through a set of events. We have our 15th annual Pittsburgh Service Summit coming up this year. That's wild. Like, just thinking about it, it used to be a 9-hour event. I have to say that was my dream, and we've kind of scaled it back to more like 3 hours now. But it's one of the best celebrations, certainly, of the year. We have the Power Hour Leadership Series as well. That we've had 86 sessions of that now, which is really neat. And then we recorded and filmed 50 episodes of our TV show on community television. I have to say, Allison, I was kind of the Susan Lucci of public television for a while, because I think I came in second place for best talk show hosts on community television like 3 or 4 years in a row. Never actually won, but I came in second place a couple times for that. So just it really enjoys, utilizing this microphone to try to empower and hopefully inspire folks of all ages, truthfully, to get involved and make a difference in their community. And we see that with Variety, in this professional life here at Variety, the wonderful things that people do across the 59 counties that we serve in Pennsylvania, local businesses, local organizations stepping up to help and serve our children and our family. We're going to be celebrating next Tuesday, as we're recording this, with Yana Leonard, Josh Leonard, Pete Belcastro, just a firm called the Leonard Advisory Group. Got together in January, chatted with them, and they decided they wanted to hopefully sponsor 1 bike for a child this year. Next Tuesday, they'll be giving 5 bikes out at their event, and just to see how much, hopefully, it's been a good experience for them. And the fact that it's going to be bringing this life-changing adaptive equipment to 5 kids and their families. We know companies can make a difference. We know organizations can make a big difference. And that's what they're doing across these 59 counties through Variety. And hopefully it makes even their professional experience that much more enjoyable and good. I will say our partners at Covestro plan the Halloween party of the year for us every year. So we're very much looking forward to that too. But Ben Renwick, Samir Hifri is on our board. He's the president and CEO of Covestro. But the joy that it brings to their staff members, and the fact that they see this large global corporation that they work with cares about children locally, I think it really just, it builds up that experience as a staff member as well too.
Yeah, and I think exactly what you said. The wonderful feeling that you get from volunteering or providing service or being part of those things, is one of the greatest lessons that we can teach young people about why is it important to serve or to volunteer. Mm-hmm. And you touched on it earlier, and you said about the different stages from high school to college to being a young professional. There are a lot of professional and personal benefits from volunteering. Can you tell us about some of the skills that you think young people can gain from volunteering?
I think a big part of it is event planning. So there are a lot of events correlated to the organizations that many young professionals and students get involved with. So just the ability to plan events, it might not be something that they're used to doing in their daily lives, in their school, or in their career. I would also just say fundraising. I think that's something great that we see. Leukemia Lymphoma Society here in Pittsburgh. I was one of their Man and Woman of the Year finalists a couple years ago. You had to raise $5,000 was the minimum, and they decided to start a student program. And fast forward a couple years later, Monica Snyder and Jenny Snyder, 2 of the closest people to my family, younger friends in our life, but 2 of the young people that my wife and family and I believe in so intensely, raising 10,000 plus. I think Jenny raised close to 20,000. We see that young people can do remarkable things. Previously at North Hills Community Outreach, an annual event called Jump for the Hills, that would roughly raise 70 to 80K a year through elementary school students jumping ropes for NHCO. Like, kids and young people can do a lot to make a difference in organizations, and it's something that I think inspires all of us when we see kids stepping up and students stepping up to make that large impact. So I would encourage anyone out there, that's thinking about making a difference or getting involved in a club or activity, just go for it. Show up to the meeting, show up to the event. If it's not the perfect fit the first time, that's okay. It's okay. Just give it a chance and check it out. And I will say, the experiences that I still look back on are activities fairs. And that's how the Service Summit was actually set up originally. And it still has that element of being an activities fair. Back in college, that was always one of my favorite days of the year, when you could go to all the tables and join organizations and join the email lists and all that good stuff, to see all the amazing chances there are to be active on your campus. And on the flip side, being a recruiter for the organizations that you care about. I was a recruitment chair for my fraternity, Lambda Chi Alpha, before I was president. And about a decade later, I was the chief community affairs officer for Big Brothers Big Sisters. Very similar skill sets in some way, recruiting people to join a fraternity and recruiting people to volunteer with an incredible volunteer opportunity like Big Brothers Big Sisters. Some similarities there of what we were trying to do to get people involved. And I was able to use some of those tangible skill sets from back in school to get a lot of people, a record-setting number of people involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, which was a really fun era of my life as well.
Yeah, and I think that the advice you gave, just show up, that's the first step. I think that is, terrific advice for, a young people just wondering how to begin to volunteer, show up to something that's amazing. And
it's true with programs like PFEW too, like for students that are maybe contemplating going to the program, you're maybe intimidated. If there's not somebody from your high school going, it can be a little intimidating. You get there nervous on the first day. By the end of it, you don't want to leave or ever go away at the end of the week from PFEW. So just give it a chance. You're going to meet potentially lifelong friends that you'll stay in touch with for a long, long time.
Yeah, that is terrific advice. I mean, when we do see that students come and, it's nerve-wracking that first day, but by Tuesday, it's like their new family.
Yeah.
And that can happen in a volunteering or a service experience too. That's, and one of our biggest pain points at the foundation is definitely always getting volunteers. And I think because, adults finding that balance, that ability to balance their professional and their ability to volunteer, that time management. Do you have any advice for, you're busy, you're leading 2 organizations. How do you find that balance and how do you find that time to be able to volunteer?
Well, I've loved being a big. So I've had 4 little brothers that are truly like family. So Preston, I mentioned earlier, is 32. E-Robs turns 26 this fall. EJ's 21 and Eddie is 19. And all 4 of them, it's just been such a good experience. With 3 of them, we were school-based mentoring before we went over to the community-based side. So there are programs that exist throughout the typical workday. I will say I volunteered Anchor Point Counseling Ministry with a little guy named Ethan. We just started our 4th year together. 6th grade math is no joke though, Allison. I gotta say, that's my takeaway from yesterday. Some of you watching this aren't that far removed from 6th grade math, and it is tougher than it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. But just you go there and, maybe things are hectic, maybe things haven't been perfect in your own day professionally, and you get there. And just to see the world through the eyes of a child, to get to experience the ups and the downs with them, but a lot more ups than downs. And it's been so much fun just being a mentor and a positive person in the lives of all 5, my 4 littles, and then Ethan from Anchor Point. It's been so good. I would just say on the flip side, I became a parent a little bit later. So I was 38 when I became a dad. My wife and I had been married for 14 years at that point. I love being involved with my daughter's activities too. I think that's a good way for people to get involved. I know the book is called Get Involved, Making the Most of Your 20s and 30s from back in the day. I think there's also maybe a secondary book about getting involved as a parent, which, I love being involved in the PTA. Tonight, we have a big game. I'm the head coach of the NHAA Purple Ponies. So we're going to bring some purple happiness to the softball field here tonight. But that's a really fun way to volunteer and to support your child, but also her 9 teammates and the families that are involved with the softball league. So a lot of fun ways to be active and be involved. And I would just say, give it a chance. At first I was like, what do I know about coaching softball for 6-year-olds? And my wife was like, you're going to regret it if you don't do it. So I gave it a chance. And now I've been the head coach of the gold medalists, the Blueberries, and now the Purple Ponies. And it's so much fun. It's a highlight of the day, highlight of the week.
You talked about creativity earlier. Those names, those are creative. Those are creative softball team names.
Our
and
team
it is true.
Much of a democracy, Allison. I give them a little creative control over some decisions that we make.
And it is true. Once you have children of your own, I know that my first volunteer experiences were, as a parent and volunteering for my kids' activities. And again, it goes back to that just show up. I mean, you don't have to be an expert, but you can be there and you can, be a terrific example. And honestly, you can learn with the kids. I did the same thing. That's, terrific advice. And
if I can say on the flip side too, Allison, just volunteering with people that aren't your age the other way. So I've been in the Rotary Club since 2006, 2007. And to get to experience some positive mentoring on the flip side, where I was one of the younger members when I joined. In my current club, I'm still one of the younger members, and it's been a great way to learn lessons from people that are closer aligned to my mom's age and what would be my dad's age. So that's also been a wonderful experience. This is my 4th year as a Rotary Club president. I really enjoy it. Get to be creative in that as well too. And bring hopefully some fun and joy to our Rotary Club. And then I just mentioned last Friday, I was the bingo caller. I'm on the board of Vincentian Collaborative System, and I was the bingo caller for the bingo game at Vincentian Home Personal Care. And it was fun. I did get criticized. One woman in the back of the room said, "He's horrible. He goes way too slow." So there's humbling moments of that. Like some days you get heckled by an 80-year-old and a 6-year-old. It's pretty fun to roll away as you volunteer.
Yeah, we never stop learning, and
Right.
you did not stop learning that you need to call bingo maybe a little bit faster next
Oh, I did.
time.
I certainly went faster after the comment. That is for sure.
That's great. About we talked about your organizations and everything, that you've been doing professionally, so, and as well personally. So what do you see happening for you personally and professionally in the next 5 years?
Well, I did announce on the stage at the C-Suite Awards in the fall for the Pittsburgh Business Times that I was making another run for office, and that office is PTA president. So I'm going to put it here as well too. I would like to be president of the Parent Teacher Association at Westview Elementary School someday. That is a goal, but I'm just being more involved with the PTA. Certainly, variety. I mean, we have our wonderful, most importantly, variety. We have our wonderful 3 core programs. So my bike, my stroller, and my voice. In 2024, we've been doing a lot more with peak moments. We do a lot of experiential type opportunities for kids and their families too. Things like the bocce game last night, things like the Labor Day parade, where we were a sea of variety red. We also now have a new partnership with Tickets for Kids, where our variety kids and their families can go to games for free, which is a lot of fun as well too. We had a cooking class with Flower Power Baking Studio here, and I gotta say, the sky's the limit for what we can achieve through that 4th element of variety as well too. But I have to say, my predecessor, and I would encourage all of the young leaders and leaders of all ages watching this program to Google the name of my predecessor, Charlie LaValle. Honestly, Allison, he's one of the most incredible people I've ever met and experienced. Started the CHIP program in Pennsylvania, so the Children's Health Insurance Program. That was Charlie. When he had a close loved one pass away, his dear friend, Mr. Rogers, like the Fred Rogers, told Charlie to use his grief for good, and Charlie started the Highmark Caring Place, which is now a grieving model across the nation, which is pretty incredible. And when he got here to Variety 12, 13 years ago, he got these 3 core programs going of my bike, my stroller, and my voice. The world's a different place because of Charlie LaValle. So every young leader, I always say that his life story should be mandated reading every public policy class and graduate schools across the state, across the world. And to get to come here and get to hopefully be even a smidgen the person that Charlie LaValle is just been remarkable. So it's a wonderful organization. We've got a great board, we've got great partners, and just to keep things going really in a positive way for Variety, that's what I'm focused on.
Tom, your passion and enthusiasm for what you do has been truly inspiring in this interview.
Oh, thanks,
I
Allison.
thank you so much. We are to the point of wrapping up.
Okay.
So I want to know, do you have any closing remarks or any pieces of wisdom for our viewers?
One thing with getting involved, the way that we wrap up a lot of our get-togethers is just, why not me, right? Like, there's a lot of people that dream big things, and why not you accomplish the things that you want to do? I often have people share in sessions, who would you want to do an informational interview with? Who would you want to get to know? And why couldn't you be that person someday, or a scaled back version of that person someday, right? Somebody's going to do it. I found this in my government life as well too. I used to wonder, how does anyone ever get on county council? And then to get to serve there for 8 years after the school board, it was such a wonderful experience getting to be in government. I always thought, why not me? Like, let's give it a chance, let's give it a shot. And that was just an incredible experience. So I would encourage all the young leaders and people across the Commonwealth that are watching this to think, why not me? You can do big things in this world. You can start your own thing as well too. We see that all the time. And it doesn't have to be a business. There's organizations, there's gathering groups that you can start. There's leadership roles civically that I remember thinking someday maybe I'll be like a committee chair for Pittsburgh Urban Magnet Project. That's our largest young professionals group here. And when I became the president of the pump board, two things we did. First of all, we had a great time doing it, and we got a lot of young people, young professionals involved in the region. But we also strategically, Allison, changed the thought process. It wasn't just 21 to 40. It was young thinking with the thought that we would get older someday and we would still care about these issues. So that was some forward thinking on that one. But I would just encourage people to think, why not me? Somebody's going to achieve it. Somebody's going to do it. Why shouldn't it be you? You're wonderful. And there's a whole world of people, including Allison and everyone involved with PFEW, that wants to support you. So why not you?
That is great advice. I mean, that is how you build leaders. You know, every great leader started with why not me?
Right.
And they did something. Those are perfect parting words.
Thank you.
But I thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today. And I mean, always an honor to reconnect with a PFEW graduate. So everyone, please visit Variety, the children's charity of Pittsburgh, at varietypittsburgh.org. You can also reach out to us at the Foundation for Free Enterprise Education to contact Tom or to connect with our staff. We will be sharing those resources at the end of this video. Thank you all for joining us, and please explore our other speaker series videos found on our website. From all of us here at the Foundation for Free Enterprise Education, thank you for watching, and thank you, Tom.
Thank you.